This is the Quad Cortex from Neural DSP. This is the hot ticket item for 2021 when it comes to amp sims. The big question on everyone's mind is it better than the AxeFx? Is it better than the Kemper? Is this the new king of amp sims? Let's find out. All right, so hopefully I'm not too late to the party when it comes to the Quad Cortex. I got this on Monday. I'm shooting this on Thursday. Now, I shot an unboxing video to this, and I don't know what the hell happened to the files. I either forgot to press record or they got lost in the breeze somewhere. Oh, well, shit happens. Let's get to the interesting stuff. Let's hear what this thing sounds like. All right, so we've got the unit set up on the table here, and I gotta say, I'm already 3 days behind shooting this segment of the video because I've been playing with it pretty much non-stop. So the big question is, does this make the AxeFx obsolete? And the most truthful answer I can give you guys is maybe. It's definitely got it beat in terms of interface. You've got this amazing touchscreen here. You just grab anything you want, mic positions, microphone types. It's really quite comprehensive, just how deep you can go with this thing. You've just got access to everything you want. I mean, like, this is the Freeman setup here, and we've got all these overdrives. They're just foot switchable. Yeah, this is basically, it looks like it's their version of the Freeman BE100. You got access to all the different amp settings and switches. Now, what I really love about this thing is not only you got the touchscreen and you got all the switches, but these are rotary encoders. I can dial in the tone of this without having to look at a screen, without having to listen with my eyes. I can just use tactile feedback and dial the amp in that easily. This is great. I mean, like, this is the thing. As human beings, we're built to put our hands around things, and actually having a knob that we can adjust things with is just absolutely fantastic. This has been sorely lacking in the realm of amp sims since forever. I mean, like, mice work great on screens, sure, but there's nothing out there beats the knob when it comes to actually dialing something in. It just makes life that much simpler. So I gotta say, in terms of interface, this is really fantastic. The fact that you can just get to everything with relative ease is absolutely great. Now, that's the thing. There's a ton of amp sims available. You know, this is set for a Freeman 100. We can just change device here and say you want a Plexi normal. Let's see what we get here. It needs a little more that's kind of fun. Now let's switch over here and get something maybe a little more high gain. We can go to change device, grab an amp here. Let's see here, Cali Duo. There's just so many amp sims to go with. Let's go with a EVH 101 Red. That looks interesting. Let's see what we get here now. Might not need that overdrive in place. Let's take that off and just listen to the amp zeroed out like this. Okay, obviously I think that's a little dull, might be a little bit gainy, so let's just dial this in. Real simple. Maybe a bit more treble, a bit more mids, bring the bass down, a little bit more presence. Slightly brighter sound with the mic position. That's really easy. Now that's the thing, these virtual mic positions remind me a lot of what you'd see with the Neural DSP plugins like the Fort and Nameless and all the new stuff coming out these days. It's basically the same idea. It's real simple to just change the tone up that easily. So the big question for me anyway, as a home recording guy, is how well is this thing going to work in a mix? So what I've done is I've turned off the cab simulations, and I'm running a combination of, I think it's the PV505 is the name of the patch, and the Freeman 100. We blended two amps together, and we're running that right into Reaper with a couple of official angle impulses from Lancaster Audio. Let's check it out. All right, I think that does the trick. So that's kind of like what an AxeFx does. That's using the built-in amp sims, and that's pretty cool. But the big strength of this is it does its own captures. If we go here, we can set up a new neural capture, and it just runs you through the whole thing, how to set everything up, how to do a capture and all that. So the big question to me is this going to replace a tube amp? Is this going to do what a Kemper does, but at a slightly cheaper price? Now, this thing is obviously priced to compete with the AxeFx floor models, with the Kemper floor models, and of course the Helix. And at $1,600, I think it comes in at fairly competitive. Now, my biggest gripe in the early days of amp sims was, okay, they claim to do, 500 things and they do them all really badly. I always wanted, with an amp sim, just give me one amp that sounds good. Now, I think the technology's definitely matured to the point where we get more than one good sound. And I think that's absolutely great. The fact that this thing is so flexible and lets you change out a million different amps and all kinds of different IRs and load up your own custom IRs. This is just absolutely fantastic. Again, the interface just really can't be beat. This is really just something else. It just gives you so many choices to do so many great sounds. Now, the big question for me is, how well does it stack up against a real amp? I mean, like, I've got a wall full of tube amps here. Would I use this over a tube amp in the studio? So what I did was I actually grabbed a capture of my Rev Generator 120 Mark II, which is up for grabs in oldies but baddies. And this system makes it really easy to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you guys a mix of a real Rev Generator 120 versus what's going on with the Quad Cortex. I'm not going to label which is the real amp and which is the capture. I want you guys to tell me, is it clip A or clip B? Which one's the real amp? Which one is the Quad Cortex? I'm going to follow this video up next week and give you some more updates about what I think of it as I get my feet wet with the system. I mean, once again, it's got just so many capabilities and so many effects and things to tweak out. There's delays, there's reverbs, there's chorus, just This is a guitar player's dream setup. There really is. And the fact that the amp sims are very high quality and the captures are starting to sound really great as well. I think this is not only going to give the AxeFx a run for its money, I think it might just give the Kemper a run for its money as well. Now, my Kemper is my personal favorite out of all the digital amp sims at this point. This might just be looking to steal a bit of Kemper's thunder. Now, if you're an AxeFx or a Kemper owner, I'm sure you're probably going to say something along the lines of, yeah, because you dropped $3,000 on a very expensive piece of gear that may or may not be obsolete depending on your position. I asked that question months ago. Is the AxeFx going to be obsolete when the next new cool piece of gear comes out? And this is that new cool piece of gear. Ultimately, though, if something's giving you a sound you like, then obviously it's still going to be great. Hell, I know there's some people who still use the Ensoniq DAW, which came out in the late 90s and early 2000s. It's become kind of a collector's item. It still works absolutely fine. That's the thing. Just because bigger and better has come out, if you're in a system that you really like the sound of, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Like I said, in terms of interface, though, I think this thing's an absolute winner. In terms of sound quality, I'm really happy with the mixes I'm getting, though. So as a studio tool, yeah, I think this is a fairly mature platform. I do want to get my hands on an AxeFx and shoot out some of, you know, the factory made amp sims versus what's available on the AxeFx. Same thing with the Kemper. I'm going to make a few phone calls and see what I can come up with. But in the meantime, you guys tell me what you thought was the real amp, clip A or clip B. Leave a comment below and I'll see you back here next week. Thanks for watching.